What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Devy Royale YouTube channel. I am your host, as always, Kevin Coleman, at DuBois_22. And we are back on this channel to talk about some Devy Royale and 5 guys that are moving, transfer portal chaos, and what we can expect from them. Hey, we're here to talk about Caleb Williams. We finally have a landing spot for Caleb Williams. It's been a while kind of figuring out where he's going to go. He flirted with a lot of teams. He flirted with Wisconsin really heavy, but he ends up going to USC with his old coach, Lincoln Riley. And it is going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. I think this is the first time where we have these guys really paired together between each other, and they're going to go as far as he takes them this year. With Jackson Dart going to Ole Miss, Caleb's coming there, Mario Williams, who we already covered on a previous episode. If you want to check that out, what is it now when we think of like Caleb and what it means for USC? Let's kind of talk about what he did last year. So if you're looking at what he did last year, 136 for 211, 64% completion percentage. He had 1,900 yards. He had 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but he also rushed for 6 touchdowns, 442 yards. So he looked good on the ground, in the air. They came up a little short. And I do think that when we think of Caleb as a prospect, I like Caleb. There are some things he's got to work on. And when we're talking about kind of what he does well, though, let's kind of break that down. I think he has good accuracy. I like his arm strength. I think his athleticism plays out, rushing and playmaking. Like, that is going to be the big one. And I know a lot of fantasy people out there, they're going to love his Konami upside. And that's what we always kind of talk about. What kind of upside does the young man have? He has Konami rushing ability. He has playmaking ability. The other thing that I think that he does do well is scheme versatility. When he was at Washington, D.C. Gonzaga, he came in as a number 7 player overall, number 2 quarterback of the class of 2021, according to 247 Sports. He was pretty versatile in that system that they had. And you see that with Oklahoma. He was able to come in right away. He learned the scheme very quickly. And I think that's a skill. So I do think that's going to come into play when he goes to USC. It's, okay, who is he? So if we're going to watch him here, this is first and foremost what he does well. Rushing ability and the rushing upside. This is one of his first games that he got in the game before he took over for Spencer Rattler. And you're going to see a lot of good things about his ability to throw and his ability to kind of take that next step. Now, when you watch him here, he's got good pocket presence. He knows where he's going. I will say as a thrower, there are some mechanic issues. And I don't want to say issues more than just he's got to learn how to kind of get his feet set. He can kind of sometimes go back foot off his throws and do that. But this is one of the most famous runs right here against Texas, running for this touchdown. It kind of led them back in this comeback. And this is what he does. This is his skill right here. His ability to kind of transform off scheme right here. He obviously that was a bad snap, but he's able to make something happen. His playmaking ability is going to set him apart. And this game against Texas was his coming out party. We know that. They came back and they won. And he did a good job. And this throw really kind of shows his talent that he has. He steps up in the pocket, look at that, just, off one foot, able to get it to him. Amazing catch by Marvin Mims. Just want to shout out Marvin Mims. But he's able to get it to him in that spot off of 1 foot, even when his mechanics kind of break down. I mean, that's the value, right? Like, that's the kind of thing. That's the reason why people wanted him. That's the reason why people were loving him. And some people have him as their QB1 or QB2 of the class. That's an incredible catch, but that's what he does well. And you'll see it here. Kind of steps up in the pocket, finds the open man. Like, when he can do this and when he doesn't play outside of himself, he's a very good quarterback. There are some things he's got to develop on. He's got to work on. And I think that's what he's going to have to do when he gets to USC. And his development's going to be key. Remember, he's coming in late. It's already February. He's got to go to classes. He's got to get that stuff set. He's got to get a scheme set. Now, coming already to Lincoln Riley's offense, that'll help him. But they have a whole new crew at USC. So when we're talking about kind of where he's going, they have Austin Jones coming in. I got Raleek Brown. We know that. Brandon Campbell's going to still be there. Travis Dye is going to be there now. Wide receiver room is going to get a little bit of a makeover. Bynum, Washington, Gary Bryant, young CJ Williams, 5-star recruit there. I think those guys are going to be very good. But when you're looking at what CJ is going to, what Williams is going to have to do here, he's going to have to step up, and he's going to have to be that guy. And where can he lead USC? I mean, the stakes are high, and the pressure is really high on this young man. Can they lead him into? Can they go for a Pac-12 championship? I think even though it's his first year, that's the base. Like, hey, can he get us to a Pac-12 championship? Now, as far as where he's going in value right now, he's going to the first round. And, in a recent mock that I did for Fantasy Pros, which is going to be coming out in the next few days, I didn't have him in the first round. And part of that reason was the uncertainty of where he was going because I wrote it before he went to USC. But even now, I think it's a reach. And we talked about this on the Devy Royale podcast last night. So, find iTunes, check it out. Who would you rather have on your roster? Caleb in the first or Jackson Dart in the second? In my opinion, I'd rather have Jackson Dart in the late second and C2C especially, because I do think that there's some value there and there's less risk. The DJU, the Spencer Rattlers kind of have everybody on their mind. Right now, to me, I had 3 quarterbacks first round grades, and it's Quinn, it is CJ, and it is Bryce. And I think Caleb's right there too. I would put him at like 201. I mean, if you're going to reach, fine. But I saw someone take him at the 105 before CJ. That's too high for me. I think that, we got to see what he can do at USC. What is he going to do with those weapons? Can he develop? Can he be those guys? But first round, I understand it. I'd rather have him in the second round. I think in Devy, it's a risk. So just a calculated risk on what you want to do there. So we appreciate you guys checking out the channel. This is Caleb Williams. Exciting times at USC. The Trojans could be back. I think it's a lot of fun for USC fans. And so I hope that, I hope they do well for you guys out there. As always, please hit that like, subscribe button. Also, please check out our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can find it, the Devy Royale. We appreciate you guys, and we'll check you.